Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video we are going to be talking about whether or not I think you can improve as a player playing public games in Apex Legends. Now what I mean by public games is anything that is non-ranked, whether that be duos, trios or even arena. But before we do get into this, I do want a quick disclaimer that this isn't going to be coming from a rank 1 Predators or even a Predators perspective or even a Master player. I'm currently a Diamond player, but for me that makes this info more valuable because as a Diamond player you have more room to improve than a Masters or a Predator player. But other than that, let's get straight into the video. So we're going to start talking about the pros, and then later in the video we are going to talk about the cons. I'm going to leave timestamps in the description if you want to hop straight between the pros and the cons at any point during the video. But the main pro that I would like to talk about is mouse control and aim. Now no one can deny that aim in Apex Legends is extremely important. After all, it is a first person shooter, and when you get to those higher ranks, aim becomes more and more relevant. If you can't aim, you are going to get absolutely destroyed by some of the top players. I have experienced this myself, and because of experiencing that, it made me want to try public games. And because I never used to enjoy public games, but I feel like the more time that you're able to put into Apex itself, the more you're going to improve. So if you get to take all these fights constantly, you're going to be able to improve your aim. And not only just your aim, just your mouse control in general. Whether or not you're fighting someone, moving your mouse on certain parts of your mouse pad that you're not normally comfortable with, it's really going to help in the long run. Now, obviously there's things like Kovacs and Aim Lab, but a lot of people don't actually enjoy sitting there and just aim training, like pure aim training. I'm one of those people. I enjoy playing Apex and improving that way. So if you want to improve a different way, you don't want to sit there for hours on end going through Kovacs or Aim Lab or any kind of aim trainer, then maybe just try public games. You get to fight a lot of people, you know, do hot drops and constantly fight. It's a lot of fun. I'm very surprised. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but it is a hell of a lot of fun just constantly fighting people. Now, for the next two pros, I'm actually going to be putting them together. And that is when and how to take fights and learning the map. I feel like these two are so important and they go together very well. Because if you don't know the map, knowing how and where to take a fight is very hard. Now, even if you've played Apex for hundreds of hours, sometimes you don't know when is the best time to take a fight. That's one of the big skills that comes into this game. That's why in-game leaders are so important. When it comes to the competitive scene for any game, whether it be Apex, whether it be Counter-Strike, it's when and how to take those fights. So the more you get to take the fights and different places you get to take them in, it's going to teach you that maybe this isn't a good spot. Let's say train on World's Edge, for example. It's somewhere that I'm not comfortable taking a fight in. Now, that's not to say it's not a good area to fight, but the more I take fights in that, I'll learn where and when not to fight from when I'm fighting someone in train. It's the same as any other POI or any other place on the map. So I feel like these 2 points, they go hand in hand together. Where to take a fight, how to take a fight, and learning the map. I feel like you get all of that when you get to play the game consistently and take lots of fights. And the last pro we are going to be talking about is, in fact, movement. Now, I'm sure most people out there have seen clips of Asu, Fade, Stormen, literally anyone with good movement, and you see them do all these fancy tricks and you're like, well, you know, I wish I could do that, because they literally, it looks like they make other players look so bad, even though you can say you can make some of the best players look bad if you've got insane movement. Movement is such an important thing inside of Apex. If you haven't got good movement, it feels like you're at such a disadvantage. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be able to do all these fancy things like zipline hopping, wall bouncing, all stuff like that. You don't even have to know how to do a simple thing as tap strafing, which a lot of people don't know how to do because it's such a minuscule thing, but there's certain situations it can really help you in. Now, if you're able to, you know, learn how to do certain techniques like this and then take them into game where it doesn't matter because there's no ranked issue, there's no RP to worry about. You can just kind of practice these things as you're playing in an in-game environment, during a fight, in certain situations, certain parts of the map. Now, for me, movement, I think it's so satisfying. I'm sure most people will agree. And I've been learning a lot of different movement things lately. I've been learning a lot of tap strafing, into wall bounce, and all kind of fancy moves that I want to learn how to do that I can pull out if I need them. I'm not the sort of person that I don't just want to do these all the time for montage and stuff like that, but I want to learn them so when I need them, I can do them. It's a kind of thing that the more you play with movement, the more it just becomes second nature. And you want the movement to become second nature. You don't want to think, oh, I need to do this wall bounce now, and you're like really focusing on it, that you kind of forget what's happening around you. You want it to become, oh, you know, you just done a wall bounce, or you just tap strafe around the corner, so on, you know, things like that. So the thing with movement is you don't even have to fight people to get comfortable with movement. You could go into a game and just practice your wall bounce on certain parts of the map. That's something as simple as that, and there's no worry. Obviously, if you do this, I would highly recommend doing solo no fills, because you don't want to grief your teammates. I know it's only public games, but still, that is counted as griefing if you're just going to not play the game. But movement is so important in Apex Legends that I feel that if you constantly get to play and you get to run about the map more than you do in ranked because you're not dying as much, then it's definitely going to help you in the long run. But other than that, we're going to talk about the cons now. So I hope you guys appreciate the pros, and let me know what you think about the pros. But let's get straight into the cons. So the first con I'm going to be talking about is, of course, one that I imagine everyone is going to be thinking about, and the biggest, and that is player skill difference. Now, when you go from a diamond lobby or even a platinum lobby to a public game, you're really going to notice a difference in skill level. Now, there still is skill-based matchmaking inside of Apex Legends, but it's nothing like the rank system. You'll really notice the difference in skill in public games to rank games. Of course, you're still going to get those high-ranked players in these public games, and there's a chance of, if you're a gold player, to come across a predator player, which you wouldn't normally face inside of ranked, but they're going to be a hell of a lot less frequent. Now, there's a lot of times that I see people inside of Twitch streams and whatnot say that streamers are in bot lobbies. Now, the thing with the saying bot lobby, I don't really like to say that, because sometimes it's just a case of players that don't play the game anywhere near as much as others. Now, in public games, you're going to get those people that just hop on for a couple games on the weekend or a couple games in the evening after work or something like that. Whereas in ranked, you're more likely to come across those people that are just constantly grinding to improve. People that do it for a living. Streamers, YouTubers, all people like that. So that's also something you've got to take into consideration. You're going to be fighting people that are a hell of a lot lower in skill, and it's rarely going to come across someone that's extremely good. That is definitely a big con when you're playing public games in Apex Legends. Now, another point that I've got, which is very similar to player skill, is uncoordinated teams. Most of the time when you're playing public games, you're playing with a lot of people that aren't necessarily playing as a 3-stack. They're just playing by themselves, or they're playing with just a friend. And sometimes you play duos where it's nothing like ranked because there's one less player. Well, I say it's nothing like. It's not exactly like ranked because you are missing that one player every fight. But when you get to the higher ranks, not even necessarily high ranks, just in ranked, a lot more people play as a 3-stack or as a full team that are coordinated, talking on Discord. There are a hell of a lot of solo cures, but when you get to the higher ranks, when you come across the good players, they're going to be playing with other people. They're going to have that communication. They're going to be fighting. They're going to be pushing together. And you're definitely not going to get that as much in public games. From experience, I can tell you that a lot of the times you're going to be able to isolate your 1v1s very, very easily. A lot of the times you won't even find the whole team together. You go somewhere like Sorting Factory, which you can actually see in the background right now, and there'll be one player on one side and another one on the other, and everyone would have dropped halfway across the map. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. You're going to be coming across a lot less uncoordinated teams, and a lot of the time you're barely going to be fighting a 3v3. It's going to feel like 1v3s or 1v1s half the time. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. And the last con I would like to talk about is quite a small one. That's why I've left it till last. But that is the fact that things like rotations are going to differ from your ranked games, because hot drops are going to be more relevant. When you go into a public game, sometimes the whole lobby, no joke, like you can get the whole lobby landing in one place. I've had multiple games where before the first circle is even closed, there's 2 teams left. And that's my team and one other team. 2 teams total. It is kind of ridiculous sometimes, but that can happen. So you're not going to be getting teams landing necessarily really far out. So when you're rotating in a ranked game, you're more likely to come across teams because not everyone's going to be landing in the same place. People play to win. Whereas in the public games, people just play to fight half the time. Obviously, that can happen in ranked, don't get me wrong. There's nothing worse than when you're solo queuing or you're duo queuing and your third just kind of goes to fragment, solo drops and just leaves you, and you're just like, oh, well, okay then, I guess we're going to be playing this as a duo. Don't get me wrong, like I said, that can happen. But rotations are going to differ completely. But it is a very minute thing for me because I feel like rotations as a whole is more of a thing when it comes to the pro scene. In ranked rotations, it's obviously they exist. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot different. It is a hell of a lot different. You still need to know your rotations and how to rotate into the next zone, but it's a lot less relevant when it comes to, you know, ranked rather than something like the pro scene. That is all the pros and cons I've got to talk about in this video, but I would like to give my final thoughts and my personal opinion on whether or not I think Apex public games do in fact help you improve. Now, my personal opinion, I think they really, really do. And honestly, I am so surprised because I really didn't think they would be that good. I thought the player skill would be such an issue. And I imagine most other people also think that. When you think, oh, I'm going to be playing against people that are nowhere near as good as the people I'm playing against in ranked, what's the point? But when you look at it in the, you know, the regards of there's so many different things to improve upon, then I feel like it is so big to be able to just play, drop fight, constantly go. You get insta Q pops. It's really nice. You're not waiting around in Q when you get to like, when you get to Diamond, Master, Predator, Qs are a lot longer. I imagine they are in Plat, Gold and whatnot, but I imagine they're, you know, a tiny bit longer in Diamond because there's less players there. It's just the way the system works. But overall, I think public games and Apex Legends are a great way for you to improve, especially if you don't enjoy pure aim training. I feel like it's absolutely fantastic. I've been having a blast. It's something that's really helped me improve as a player. Not only my aim, but my movement, just absolutely everything. I think it's a fantastic way to improve. So if you guys are looking for a way to improve and you're just getting, you know, put down by ranked because maybe bad teammates, you haven't got people to play with, public games are definitely the way to go. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what your opinions are on this topic. If you've got any, you know, maybe cons or pros that I haven't necessarily talked about, put them down in the comment section down below. Let people, you know, talk about it, spark a debate. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button. Drop a comment down below, like I said, what you think of this. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace out.